Ladies and gentlemen, fellow decoders around the world, wherever you may be, my name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality. And today we're going to be doing part 2 of the Crypto Kingdom. Crypto Kingdom Part 2 Decoded. I hope that if you're here, you watched my first one, which was right here. Didn't get as much traction as I thought it would, but if you watched it, I appreciate the support. I broke down what I felt like was coming to all of our realities. And cryptocurrency is going to be a part of that through the Age of Aquarius. Now, a lot of people ask me, can you decode some coins? And I got the cryptocurrency decoded that I put out. Jordan and I have talked about astrological crypto. I just did the Economist magazine, 1988 crypto. I did blockchain decoded. You just got to go to my channel and go to the hourglass here and type in crypto, and you're going to get all these outcomes. And then you can start to watch these because I got a lot of information based upon cryptocurrency. But to me, ladies and gentlemen, I am very convinced that the Kingdom of the Christ that he talked about was the story about the Age of Aquarius. And this is going to further extend upon the very first crypto kingdom. Some more information that I found. And, a big shout out to some fellow decoders, Robert, Lisa, and Deborah. All of you recommended some videos kind of simultaneously of Bill Donahue. And I haven't really dove into his research. He hasn't been active in over 2 years, maybe longer. But he's got a lot of videos on Uranus and tied to the Age of Aquarius. Of course, I just started getting these videos popped to me. Never really researched his information. So big shout out to all of you that recommended that I look at his work. And it's very impressive. I wasn't at first impressed because he was mentioning the Bible, but then I didn't give it a fair shot. And then I went back and then I watched this one and it kind of started to click. So I would definitely recommend watching that. He's got kind of a few videos on the Uranus aspect. I would definitely recommend. I'm going to leave this link in the description for all of you to watch. So let's jump into this Crypto Kingdom Part 2 Decoded. And this was a slide from the very first one showing how, and a big shout out to the fellow decoder Jill for pointing this out. I didn't know, this is a big illustration of the Christ. A lot of illustrations you're going to see of Jesus where he's got his hands, just like this. And of course it's sign language as far as I'm concerned. So Jill pointed it out. Well, hey, that's the letter U. And then I was researching, well, what's his left hand? And that's the letter G. So we had the G and the U. And I feel like this is the proper representation about the kingdom that the Christ was talking about. That, like when he says, I am no part of this world, my kingdom is not part of this world, because that was the age of Pisces that he was in. Whether it was a real guy or not doesn't make a difference. The allegorical expression of it, the story of it, the idea of it, telling you to get prepared for the Age of Aquarius. And, obviously a lot of the illustrations have the disc behind Jesus's head and the four corners. Leo would be here, even the lion heart would be here, but Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo, the four fixed signs of astrology. This is what I feel is the proper representation of that illustration. And this is the age that we are moving into or already have moved into, the Aquarius-Leo axis. And as fate would have it, they're both 36, equaling, the biggest spelling and pronunciation of the Christ. And this G and U through sign language, that's the 3 and the 6 and the 9. And then the modernized spelling of the Greek and the numerology, using the 24 letters of the Greek, I'm going to show the archaic one, that's going to be 36. So I feel like his kingdom is going to be Uranus. The kingdom of heaven is Uranus. And I'm going to support that through this part 2 of the decode. So here is the modernized. I have the archaic Greek numerology cipher. I'm going to be bringing that in as well. I was showing that in the very first one. But here's the modernized. The finalized version of the Greek, 24 letters, and it puts Uranus, and this is Gaia. And when you watch Bill Donahue's information, he's going to say, he wants his wife back. That's Gaia. Uranus and Gaia. And if you go study Greek mythology, you'll see that all of Kronos and Zeus, they're all born out of Gaia and Uranus. They all come from that that pair, which is the sky and earth. And I'm going to come back to this in just a second, ladies and gentlemen, do the numerology of it, but I feel like this has got some pretty strong merit to it here. You know, Jesus pointing to the earth, the G, and then the U. G is Gaia, Uranus, the U, and it's uranium and tellurium. This element, it means tellus. It comes from the Latin word tellus, which means earth. Even the picture of it in the Royal Society of Chemistry, there's an earth there. And when you add these up, when you do the alchemy of these two, it's 367.956. And, you know, it's a hierarchy of the 67, which is holmium. So it's a magnification times 367. But the 367 is most definitely a big number because it's the prime 73 through mathematics. And what's the 73? Bam! You're on television. And I think that this is going to be a very big truth bomb that will be delivered to the world eventually over time, realizing that you are inside of a movie set. Earth is a movie set. You're being watched. You're being observed. You're being used. And you're a little actor or actress down here. And you got to be the best little devil you can be. You're on television. I think that's going to be one of the greatest reveals for the Age of Aquarius. People will finally realize, wait a minute, I'm an actor or actress. Yep. So what's your script? Are you being the star of your movie? If you're paying attention to someone else's movie, you certainly can't be a star. So now it's the time. And, you know, Free Guy, the movie, that was a very good indicator. What do we want to do now? We can be whatever we want. That's being a star. You're on television. And that's going to be the big reveal, I feel, moving forward into the Age of Aquarius. So what about when you add up the protons for uranium, Uranus, and Gaia tellurium? 92 and 52. Going to the trusty calculator, you get that magnificent 144. This is also going to be tied to Prometheus. It's going to bleed into the element number 61. And it's also going to tie into the Great Pyramid of Giza, the latitude, longitude, 29 degrees north, 31 degrees east. That's going to give you the number 60. The pyramid has so much to do with this reality. If it got taken out, if it got removed, I think the reality would change. But it's to this element called neodymium, used to make magnets. 144 in the chakras is going to be tied to the crown. And this is where Aquarius is going to be for the age. It's either going to be at the top or at the bottom. Leo's going to be at the top or at the bottom. I can't directly tell you which one's going to be which, but that's how I feel it's going to work. And then when you add it all up, all together, the atomic masses and the protons, here's the big one, right? You add them all up right here. And this is how I know this has a lot of merit. This is my truth here, ladies and gentlemen. When you add all up, when you add up the weights and then the protons here, the 144 and the 367, you get 511.956. I didn't add the 0.59, but the 511 is the big standout. And why is the 511 big? Because it's tied to these two houses in astrology, which is what we're moving into or already have moved into. These always have a symbiotic relationship. Two houses always playing together, doing the tango, doing the dance. And it's Aquarius, the 11th house, and Leo, the 5th house. And there you go. There's the 5 and the 11 right there. There's the 511. Should be 511.956. Got a little typo there. But the 511 was the big standout here. When you add it all up, 511. There are no accidents here. And Uranus is the sole ruler, in my opinion, of the Age of Aquarius in the 11th zodiac sign. And it's not going to be anything like the Age of Pisces. Nothing like it at all, because this was a Neptune-based energy. You could throw Jupiter in if you want to. Poseidon. It's going to be, and you know, this is the sea, the water. The fish live there. Well, in Revelation, it says there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and the sea will be no more. So are we moving away from the body? Well, I'm going to come to that in just a little bit, but this is the scripture. I already outlined this in the first one. Clearly, this is referencing astrology. The Christ saying, follow me into the house with a man bearing a pitcher of water. The man bearing a pitcher of water is the symbol of Aquarius. So if you're a fan of theology, it's astro-theology. My great friend Santos talks a lot about that stuff. This is undeniable. If you're a fan of theology, well then, I don't know why you would deny astrology, because it's the same thing. Matter of fact, astrology rules over theology. And there you have it. Because this is where you're going to find your truth. That's why the church demonized it, because they didn't want you finding out the real truth of the matter. So I told you I'd come back to the modernized. See, we use the modern Greek alphabet, so it does have its own say in this reality. So Uranus becomes 36. It's 27 in the archaic Greek. And I'm going to show you that. But it's going to be 36, and then Gaia is going to be 14. So if I take the numerology of the age of Uranus and Gaia, and that's what this means. It means, the heavenly kingdom, which is heaven means Uranus. But it's going to be Krypton, which is where the word crypto comes from. Okay? Krypton was the house of Superman, and the Elohim, which is what he was an offspring of. Because he said, I'm the offspring and root of David. David is 41 in the Greek. 41 is Elohim in the Hebrew. Numerology. Okay? Let us make man in our image. And then you get where we're moving towards. Silicon. Technology capital of the world, Silicon Valley. Are we moving into light bodies, folks? Is that what we're doing? Because it says that the sea will be no more. So when you go back to astrology, is this the sea? Is it just saying the age of Pisces is ending? Well, of course. But this is the body, right? When Jesus talks about eat, break off the bread, eat, drink my wine, this is all referencing being a human being, making loaves of bread with fish and all that, all those analogies. But when it says in Revelation, there will be a new kingdom, a new heaven, and the sea will be no more, does that mean we're going to be getting rid of our bodies physically as we move into an advanced technology society? I mean, the age of Aquarius is all about, I know thyself. It's the pouring out of information. That's why the internet is here. And this is why, make no mistake about it, folks. I mean, if you can, these are my opinions. I stand by them, but I know for sure that this is saying that cryptocurrency is going to be the next fiat currency. The dollar bills and the pesos and the hard cash is going bye-bye. Takes up too much room. You got to cut trees down to make it. Listen, cryptocurrency is coming into play, folks. And technology is advancing. Unless something major happens and it overhauls the world, well, this is what it's going to look like here. And then here's the archaic spelling of Uranus, the numerology. It's the 27. There's the weight of silicon, the most abundant 27. Its average is 28, but the most abundant is a 27 isotope. And then there it is. The word heaven is 20. Jesus says that it's the king, his kingdom is not of this earth. It's because it's the heaven, it's Uranus. That's why he's got the letter U there, folks. And it's all about crypto and krypton and cryptocurrency. These are all clues telling us what's coming down the pike for our reality. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the 50. Here's Uranus and Gaia. Uranus and Gaia are what form this reality. It's Father Sky and Earth. And it's the 50. And remember, when Bitcoin was released on January 3rd, when the Genesis block was created, on January 3rd, 2009, there was a total of 50 Bitcoin. 50. Right here. Were they basing it off of this? Maybe. January 3rd's card, the 50th card in the deck, of course, the Jack of Spades. The Jack, they got the letter J on it. What does his first letter of his name start with? The Jesus is the J. He says, I'm coming with a sword. These turn into swords. If you go and study the tarot, right here. This is the Knight of Swords, the Jack of Spades. He says, I'm not coming with peace. I'm coming with a sword. This right here. And this is tied to DMT, by the way. I got Decode coming out on that. And a lot of you are anxiously waiting on that one. But clearly, I'm coming with a sword. There's the J, Jesus. It's pretty simple to see that stuff. And then lastly, to finish up this decode here, I'm going to do the alchemology. How valuable this is. And what's alchemology? Well, you take the numerology of the word and then you bring the number outcome into the periodic table and match up the outcomes of the numbers to the elements on the periodic table. So 6281469, carbon, helium, oxygen, hydrogen, beryllium, carbon, fluorine. That's Uranus. And we did the same for Gaia. We come over here to the trusty calculator. We add it up. We get 100.87. If you add it up, it's 187. That's going to be matched to a prime number, the 1049. but it's the 100. That show called The 100 on the CW. Ever seen that? The whole story of that? Well, it's tied to this element called fermium. Fermium's average 200, or most abundant 257. There's the 57. That's tied to Truman Show. It's 257. And what about the 257? Bam! It's a prime number. And it's not just any prime number, ladies and gentlemen. This summarizes it so beautiful, how beautiful this reality is. What is up with the 55? Well, I showed that in my Economist Crypto Decoded, the magazine, 1988. Because the pseudonym, the name they used, whether it was a real dude or not, doesn't matter. Satoshi Nakamoto, Chaldean, once again, the humdinger, coming through to show how scripted this reality is. 55. And then, of course, the golden ratio, the phi symbol, right there on the coin. I know some of you say, well, it's the symbol of this, it's the symbol of that. Yeah, but it's all, those are all going to be subordinate because they derive it from the symbol of phi, the golden ratio, 1.61, which if I go back up here, when you add up silicon and krypton, 161. You see, 161 is the big standard when you add krypton and silicon. The golden ratio, and it's got the 88 on the back end, time travel, radium, raw, the sun, all that stuff. 161. So the 161 is the golden ratio. It's phi. And it's right there, right in the coin of the phoenix. The 10 is the binary number. This is the 1, and then this is the 0. Can't miss it. And in the modern Greek, it's going to be number 21. The word enter equals 21. The 21st card in the tarot is the world card. And when you place the 21 into the string of the golden ratio itself, there it is. It's occupying digit 55 and 56. And 56 is lights, camera, action. Cesium, watch the show Dark on Netflix. It's tied to time travel. But this is a no-brainer here. The 55, and there's the synchronization. Doing the alchemology of Uranus and Gaia. The kingdom that Christ is talking about is the kingdom of Aquarius. That's why he said, follow me into the house of the man bearing a pitcher of water. Pretty easy to see. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto Kingdom Part 2, Decoded, short and sweet. There's the end. Would love to hear your comments. Keep them coming. Just be cordial. You don't have to agree. But if you disagree, well, show some support on what you think it means, where you think we're going. You know, I'd postulated that there will be 2 kingdoms, one above and one below. I'm still working on that information. You got Leo, the house of Leo, and the sun. So I got the sun here, forming a symbiotic relationship with the house of Aquarius and Uranus, which is where crypto, and this is why it says that the sun and the moon will no longer be needed when you go research. Go watch my first crypto kingdom Decoded, and you'll get all those nuggets. The breakdown of what I felt like it was interpreted through. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, short and sweet. Appreciate all of your support. Sending you guys a ton of love from Mexico. I appreciate each and every one of you, male and female, all the support over all these years. I'm taking you along with me for this ride if you're willing to come. Appreciate you making it all the way to the end. But that's all I got for today. My name is Logan for Decode Your Reality. Until next time, we will see you later.